Immediately after I told Rowan that I wanted to break up with her, she began threatening to post about me online, and even began attempting to blackmail me into having with her again. After the way these conversations have gone today, I really don't think so.
Why?
Because you're, like, threatening to blackmail me.
I'm not. Well, if you don't come see me, then I will.
Ladies and gentlemen, Turkey Tom has beaten the allegations that were levied against him by some ex-girlfriends by the name of Klorox Katie and Sacramento 89, aka Rowan. Now, Rowan decided to start all of these allegations back on January 14th, 2026 under the name Sacramento 89. Now, in Tom's video, he ended up revealing that her name is Rowan. Now, obviously, I don't want to defend doxing of any type, but I feel like if you're going to provide screenshots and evidence to back up who this person is and the claims that they are making, it's okay to at least include a first name.
The two women who are accusing me, Sacramento 89, real name Rowan, and Left 4 Dead, real name Katie, took to gossip forum Kiwi Farms to post the accusations, along with carefully cherry-picked screenshots to back up their claims. These claims aren't super difficult to debunk just because of the overwhelming amount of evidence I have on my side. So without further ado, let's start with Sacramento or Rowan.
Now, very early on in the video, Tom references the large amounts of evidence that he has, and in my opinion, I'm going to assume that this is what Sacramento meant by his just in case folder, or as others describe it as his blackmail folder, which is basically his way of protecting himself in case something like this were to ever happen. And I'm sure now that this video has come out, you guys can understand exactly why he decided to have this just in case folder full of evidence and screenshots that basically disprove all of these insane allegations made by these women.
Recently, I've been accused by an ex-girlfriend along with an ex-partner of non-consensually filming sexual encounters, being so rough and inconsiderate during sexual encounters that it bordered on assault, encouraging eating disorders, being into age play, along with a litany of other completely baseless, false accusations.
And yeah, in this new video titled My Side that just dropped about 4 hours ago, Tom debunks almost every single allegation, at least the ones that I truly cared about, that I felt like needed some sort of substance or evidence. Again, I've made it very clear that I don't really care about Tom's personal life, his gooning side of what he does with his own personal time. Like, yeah, it's a little funny. The dude sells Stop Gooning merch and he's like a huge gooner who's flying out e-girls, right? But again, at the end of the day, what I truly cared about was what is illegal.
Here, she alleges that I am a real freak and like to, quote, record sexual encounters without asking for consent. This is blatantly untrue. I have never recorded any sexual encounter without explicit consent. As a matter of fact, with Rowan, she was the one who initiated the idea of filming sex acts in the first place. On Tuesday, August 19th, after 3 months of knowing each other and being sexually active, Rowan texted me saying, "You should get those meta glasses when you crack me." I responded by saying, "For what?" And she answers again, "Cracking time," alluding to me filming her with the glasses onboard camera. On August 25th, Rowan texts me saying, "You should get those meta things for real." So I respond by saying, "I think I'm going to avoid filming anything involving sex for a while," showing that I am clearly not the person interested in filming our sexual encounters. She is.
Now, this first set of text messages is already pretty funny in my opinion, because Rowan is a white person, or at least she looks pretty white, and I'm not the type to like moral, police people over language and whatnot. It's just kind of funny that this chick was trying to cancel this dude, and in her text messages, she's over here throwing the N-word around. But regardless of that, again, it's just very funny that Tom had these messages to prove not only did he not film without her consent, she wanted him to film, right? He didn't ask, "Hey, can I film?" She wanted it, even going to the point where she's basically begging him to send her the videos so that she can cherish them and she can enjoy them. Now, Tom also ends up talking about this weird idea that Rowan thought he was going to blackmail her, or basically expose this content onto the internet to see. And like a lot of people thought, that would be absolutely idiotic. That would basically be the end of Turkey Tom's career. Not only that, but he might possibly be a criminal for basically posting revenge content of a random woman.
At no point anywhere did Rowan provide any proof of me threatening to release these videos of us having sex, or threatening to send them anywhere. So she has no reason to believe that I would ever release them. The idea that I, a person who makes a living as a public figure, would publicly release videos of me fucking my ex-girlfriend to get back at her is so insane. Not only would that incur reputational harm beyond belief, but also serious legal consequences. The only person who has ever sent an image of us having sex to anyone is, ironically, Rowan.
Now, of course, this brings up the point of, was every recording consensual, right? Which, of course, Tom elaborates. Tom gives his side of the story, in which every time he would record one of these encounters, he would have the phone up, and Rowan would be looking directly into the camera the entire time. Now, of course, Rowan tried to switch it up, claim that sometimes, I'd be behind and I wouldn't even know until like 30 minutes passed or whatnot, which again, Tom has given his side of the story, and considering the fact that he also has text messages of her basically begging for this type of content to be recorded, I'm gonna believe Tom on this one.
In Rowan's interview, she claims that I never asked for consent to film these sex acts, and says that she wouldn't notice I was filming until 30 seconds to 1 minute into it.
I'm not sure of an exact date, but maybe like 2 or 3 months into our relationship, he never asked me. He would just pull out his phone and record, and I wouldn't notice until maybe 30 seconds in a minute or a minute into it.
Now, I obviously can't and would never show these videos to anyone, but in them, it's undeniable that she is staring directly into the camera from the moment the video starts. She never once questions why I'm filming or what I'm doing, because the reality is that every single time we recorded, I had explicit permission.
Now, one of the next most important allegations Tom talks about is making the girls bleed in the bedroom. Of course, this implies like whenever he would do them, it was to the point where it was causing them physical pain and bleeding, which Tom, of course, provides evidence that Rowan, in fact, enjoyed this and she wanted this.
Says he likes hurting me during sex and making me bleed. This also reflects her public claims about me, but the great irony is that I never even said this. She did. On September 14th, 2025, Rowan sent me a text saying, quote, "I'm such a freak. I like when it hurts and bleeds after. Something Wong." On August 17th of 2025, the day after my birthday, Rowan and I were planning to go to mass, and she wanted to have sex with me. So she texted me saying, "Tom, I started my period." I was driving, so I couldn't say much, but I replied by saying, "That sucks. I'm 40 minutes away." She follows up by asking me if I mind getting my sword bloody, and I say I'll be okay.
And he also ends up talking about Rowan and how she has month-long periods, which of course would explain why every time they engage in this type of stuff, there's blood. Now, another huge allegation was that Tom liked to engage in very hardcore stuff, like to the point of like hitting, beating, all this kind of crazy stuff. But of course, it ends up coming out that Rowan was indeed the one wanting this type of stuff, even texting Tom things like, "I'm a freak, I want to be kidnapped, I want to be tied up, taken to the woods, maybe there's something wrong with me," right? So of course, another crazy, insane allegation that ends up being flipped to make it seem like Tom is the maniac in this relationship, even getting into some of the height dynamics, possibly the age play elements, where Rowan herself says, "I like you because you are big like a caveman. I feel small next to you. I'm tapped into my natural instincts." And Tom actually makes it funny, real Chad move. "I'm like the main character in The Croods," and it is caveman dude. And throughout the rest of this conversation between Tom and Rowan, she basically begs for, intercourse a lot, to the point where she's like asking to see his BWC, right? He didn't beat the big meat allegations, which is a good thing for him, I guess. And basically throughout this entire back and forth, consensual, by the way, conversation, she is practically begging for all of this, including the grape stuff, including the BWC, including the point where it's hurting, to which Tom posts literally about 10 minutes worth of like back and forth messages. And I'm not going to include all of them, but again, the video is going to be linked down below. For some reason, you want to read into Tom's, deviancy with this lady, which I personally do not care about. I haven't cared about that from the very beginning. Goon in private for all you want, but I do again think it's very important that this context is added, that this entire relationship, even to the point of filming, was completely consensual. She wanted all of this from the very beginning, and the only time that she ended up coming out about all of this was when Tom no longer wanted to be in a relationship. And they got to the point where this woman, you could even argue, was the one harassing Tom, basically spamming him almost daily about how much she loved him and how she wanted to meet his family and they should get married or move in. All this kinds of crazy, wacky stuff. Again, this couple, they've only been dating for a few months at this point. until, of course, she decided to go on this phone call where she basically said that she would blackmail him if he didn't want to continue their relationship.
Immediately after I told Rowan that I wanted to break up with her, she began threatening to post about me online and even began attempting to blackmail me into having sex with her again. I don't know what you want me to say to you. I just want to move on from our relationship and have you go be in your corner. You can meet other guys and it'll be fine. I'll go meet other girls. We'll just break. We'll break up.
No, you won't, because I'm gonna make it hard for you to ever be in a relationship.
Why?
Because you don't deserve one.
Why?
Because you're a piece of shit.
Why?
Because our whole relationship, you act like everything is all about you the whole time.
Okay.
You don't give a fuck. You're just an awful guy, and I'm so sorry that your mom raised you. She seemed like a nice lady, but clearly she did something very wrong.
Okay, Rowan, I just want to move on and have my life, and you'll move on and have your life. And we can be in our own corners. We don't have to do damage to each other. We don't have to cause each other any more anguish, okay?
I just want to see you again, though. Do you think we'll ever be able to see each other?
After the way these conversations have gone today, I really don't think so.
Why?
Because you're, threatening to blackmail me.
I'm not. Well, if you don't come see me, then I will.
Now, this right here already is basically open and shut that this was a very consensual relationship. Tom very obviously became extremely uncomfortable because this chick was basically harassing him, wanting non-stop, action, booty calls, whatever you want to call it, to the point where Tom was just kind of getting freaked out, right? Some people don't want that level of commitment where you're talking about meeting my family and moving in and trying to get married after we've known each other for a few months. I can't blame Tom for wanting to take his distance, in which she didn't really like that, again, basically admitting that she would blackmail him, which is basically what led to her deciding to collaborate with Klorox Katie to essentially try to ruin Turkey Tom. Now, 27 minutes into the video, Tom gets into another damning allegation, which is the age play one, which again would change the entire narrative of who Tom is as a person if he indeed likes to play around with people who like to pretend that they are young. Much younger than they really are. Of course, that would dive into elements of Tom, possibly enjoying younger people. But he doesn't. He ends up elaborating his relationship that he had with Ellie, aka Creepy Hoarder.
Now, one of the other allegations that Rowan has levied towards me is that I'm into age play. She's not alleging that I did it with her. She's alleging that I did it with another girl named Ellie, who I briefly talked to 2 years ago. Now, there's no proof whatsoever that I did anything close to age play, but I did text her about these allegations, and she clearly states that I've never done age play.
Now, this is Ellie, aka Creepy Hoarder, who was the girl that people on Kiwi Farms ended up finding her page and looking into and seeing that, yes, this girl is kind of interesting, kind of weird. She had baby shoes and a baby bedroom and Hello Kitty stuff all over the place, and people even thought that she had a binky or a pacifier. And Tom, again, confirms that they never engaged in age play, which was kind of, again, something I thought. Tom was just hooking up or maybe screwing around with this girl. Doesn't directly confirm or even make the allegation that he was engaging in age play. Sure, it's weird. He saw this stuff on her page. Is yeah, I'm gonna screw that girl. But it doesn't mean that he was engaging in it. Maybe that's cope, maybe that's sweeping, but that's kind of what I said.
An ex-girlfriend of mine named Kai, who I dated for 3 years, also publicly posted on Twitter saying that I never abused her and that we never did anything related to age play.
Now, Kai, again, is Lyrics, aka Liam Donovan's current girlfriend. Her and Tom had a relationship. They ended up falling out. They are no longer together, of course, but Kai was respectful enough to drop a Google Doc called Turkey Tom Allegations, where she basically detailed their relationship and provided evidence that they did indeed, spend time together and whatnot, and also talk about and clarify some of the age play things and, how their relationship didn't work out and whatnot. Again, kind of beating the age play allegations.
The closest thing I've ever engaged in when it comes to age play is that sometimes girls do call me daddy during sex. It's a little embarrassing given that I am me, I accept that it's something people are going to see as a little bit strange. All I can really do at this point is accept that it's something that I've done. And I think that Rowan should accept it about herself too, given that she also called me daddy during sex and over text repeatedly.
Pack it up, Daddy Tom. It's time to wrap it up. It's over. Obviously, a nothing burger, saying daddy is like one of the most generic sexual little terms you can call your partner, especially like a man, of course. Who cares, right? Like even like Rhea Ripley, for example, the WWE woman, is mommy, right? Obviously, she's not a mother. We're not age playing because they say mommy, and that's like her whole catchphrase in WWE. It's just like a power dynamic thing, which of course, in a consensual relationship, who cares? Now, another allegation that these women tried to push was the idea that Turkey Tom would just buy these women random things like Hello Kitty and Monster High merchandise as a way to like push these toys and these properties onto these people to make it seem like they're more like his ex. But in reality, of course, Rowan lied about this. Rowan did indeed have things like Hello Kitty accessories and Hello Kitty decorations on her wall. I already kind of assumed that, and I said that it's very convenient, the fact that Rowan was hiding her identity so that nobody could look into it. I did, however, end up looking into Klorox Katie, where I did find out that this chick did indeed have Hello Kitty things in her room. So, of course, Tom once again provides screenshots to show that this chick is a fan of Hello Kitty and lied about it for no reason. Like, it's such a stupid ass thing to lie about. Now, another stupid ass thing that Rowan lied about was the fact that she didn't know who Tom was before matching with her. A lot of people quickly called this out because why the hell would you screenshot a Tinder match with someone you have no idea about? No offense to Tom, but it's not like he's like the hottest guy alive, right? He's just a pretty regular looking dude. I'm a pretty regular looking dude. And so Tom ended up showing a screenshot where Rowan messaged him 15 months before they even matched on Tinder. Again, like such a dumbass, weird thing to lie about that when it gets exposed completely ruins this chick's credibility. Now, again, after this relationship ended, Tom ended up recording that call of her basically saying that she would blackmail him if they didn't get back together. And he would go on to get spammed by her. She would call this dude dozens and dozens of times, as well as send text logs complaining and trashing him and talking all this trash. And then going to the point where still texting him saying, please just talk to me. I'll see you in 3 to 5 months when you want to smash again. That does not sound like a victim to me. Again, this comes across as a very disgruntled ex who, by the way, decided to post on Kiwi Farms about this relationship 2 days after they broke up. And on January 11th, she ended up texting Tom, you recorded other girls too. During sex, you recorded other girls during like the same thing where you don't ask, you just pull your phone out and record it. That's illegal, Tom. I hope you delete them because you really have some sick power thing, hitting and choking women, even leaving bruises. It's good to know I'm not the only one who felt extremely uncomfortable, which obviously, based on what we've already seen, the line after line, message after message after message for months of this chick begging for this stuff, consenting to this stuff multiple times, comes across as her trying to literally just plant evidence in a way so that she can screenshot it and then try to do exactly what she ended up doing, which was going onto a website, a snark site, a gossip site like Kiwi Farms, to try to ruin this man's life. And she failed miserably. Now, the next person involved in this situation is Klorox Katie, which Tom ends up talking about how they literally only met 2 times. After the first time, Klorox Katie ended up saying to him, I usually don't either. That was the craziest I've experienced for sure. I had so much fun, Tom. He says, let's do it again soon. I already miss you. She says, I so down. You can kidnap me whenever. I already miss you. So alone in my bed. Again, another chick who has a interest and wanting to be, kidnapped or physically, taken, whatever the case may be. And again, try to switch it to Tom and try to make it seem like this was the worst part of her life, the worst thing that's ever happened to her, when in reality, it was a nice little interaction. This happened years ago, even going to the point where she would constantly send Tom nudes. And Tom even makes the statement, why the heck would you send nudes to someone that you allegedly do not trust, right? You're complaining and saying that this guy is recording you without consent, yet you're consensually sending him photographs of yourself naked.
This is after the first time we hung out, February 18th. She says she's going to swallow me, and she then sends me naked photos of herself willingly. Keep in mind, once again, she's accusing me of recording sex with her without her consent, and then she keeps sending me naked photos of herself. She even sent me a video, by the way. She says, "I need you right meow. I need you ASAP." February 22nd and February 24th, we have "I miss you" and "Are you home yet?" In the next screenshot, I say, "Your pussy's gonna be so sore." And Katie responds with, "Good thing we had to wait a while, because then I can take a beating." She then says, "I'm ready for you to throw me around."
Now, again, Tom ends up just showing a whole bunch of messages. Again, very consensual relationship. And this one also plays into the abuse elements where she herself makes references to liking that physical, abuse when in the bedroom. Again, I don't care what these people do behind closed doors consensually, and she's asking for it. She wants it. Tom is not just doing it. He's not just knocking right hooks out, haymaker in this chick. She's begging for it for weeks until the day they can finally meet, and she wants it to happen. Again, if you want to read the rest of those texts for whatever reason, it's going to be linked below. Tom ends up showing even more evidence of this chick basically harassing this guy. I'm using that word lightly, but of course, she spammed this dude for 10 months straight, sliding up on his story 12 times, trying to meet up for a third time, and Tom basically pulled back. Again, he wasn't looking for a relationship. Yet another disgruntled ex, and in this case, they never even dated. She was just a hookup who got a little attached, and she didn't get what she wanted, so she tried to ruin Tom's life. And the irony of this entire situation is that Sacramento, aka Rowan, ended up messaging Tom about Klorox Katie, saying that she apparently liked to run her mouth and liked to make SA allegations. All of a sudden, Rowan is the one who ends up making SA allegations, running to Kiwi Farms to then team up with Klorox Katie, the person she was literally just trash talking, which does not surprise me at all. Again, in the Kiwi Farms thread, it was Klorox Katie who ended up trash talking the third ex who Tom covered in this video. I covered her out because she's kind of irrelevant to the whole thing. But there was a huge catfight in this whole drama. The girls were basically fighting each other over who was the bigger victim. And it comes out that none of them were. They were all just consenting adults who were holding a grudge trying to ruin this dude's life. And that to me was the point where I started to kind of look through it all. I was kind of like, what the heck's going on? The fact that all of these girls kept referring to people like me or other commentary people trying to get a better side of the story, they called us slop tubers, right? They kept saying that we just talk about nonsense and blah, blah, blah. Literally, while these girls are pushing fake fake allegations about abuse and all sorts of other absolutely disgusting, deplorable things that would have absolutely ruined Tom's life. But we're the slop tubers, right? Now, the only true allegations in this situation that Tom did not beat were the gooning allegations.
Now, I've seen a lot of people say things to the effect of, Tom's a hypocrite. He gooned. And you're right. I did goon. Okay. I did not stop gooning. So maybe in the end, the hats are more relevant than ever. Anyway, that's about it. I've said everything I need to. Goodbye.
So it basically takes a new meaning to Tom's merchandise, the stop gooning. He really does have to stop gooning, at least to these e-girls, BPD girls, whatever the case may be. Tom, put the meat down, put the BWC down, lay off the ladies for a little bit, right? We saw what happened. Thankfully, you got out of there. And that's where the Turkey Tom saga comes to an end, ladies and gentlemen. If you've been watching from part 1, I appreciate you. I know that people are going to comment down below and talk trash about how, Cam, you should have waited until everything was out there. When in actuality, from the very beginning, I was skeptical. From the very beginning, I admitted my bias and how I like Tom. I think he's a great creator and someone that I actually look up to on this platform. And it came out that these chicks lied about everything. Did I want to call them liars? No. But did they lie? Yes. Did I want to say that Tom was an R word, a horrible evil monster? No. Is he? Also no. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out. I appreciate you guys. Let me know what you think down below.